I had a discussion today with a very conscious friend of mine, and he said to me, what if Satan was God and God is Satan?
Well, this is the idea, I believe.
Because, and he goes, I'll tell you why. And he goes, and I said, it's funny you said that, because I asked the same question. I said, but my reasoning for answering that question is, I'm black.
Okay.
And he said, and he goes, what do you mean? Right, he's black too. And he said, what do you mean? I says, well, this should be a question every black person should be answered. There should be no black person who asks a question blind, or should be following a faith blind. Right, and I goes, what I mean by that is this: we grew up in an era where when you press for the lift and the lift turns up with 5 white people in there, and you step in the lift, everyone holds their bag closer to them. We come from that era, yeah? Why? Because you're perceived as a threat. Yeah. You're perceived as a thief, pocket thief, small criminal, right? You walk down the street automatically, or what were them two up to this time of night, walking the street, right? He goes, yeah, I remember. I goes, exactly, right? I said, so then, we should know what it feels like to have rumours said about us that ain't true. So then, why is it everybody is saying the devil's bad, right? Yeah, but you don't hear nothing from the devil's side. We're supposed to be studying Satanism before we even look into Christian books. Okay.
Well, I've heard the difference between Satanism and Luciferianism.
Right, and there is a difference?
I believe so, and obviously I think what you're talking about would be the latter. So Satanists just want to be evil. They hate religion, they want to do evil things. And
that's not my perception of when I studied into it.
But Luciferianism are people that believe that Lucifer was actually good, and what we call the devil is actually God. And this idea was picked up by the...
I haven't picked up on the word, to be honest with you. So it could be that I was studying Luciferian occult more so than I was studying Satanism. It could be that.
If I'm right in my
I thought it was the same thing.
But yeah, so did I. Until someone said, no, Luciferians think that that Lucifer or Iblis or Shaitan is good, whereas Satanism is more just about being anti-religion.
When I read into it, this is what I picked up. He's not a liar. This is what I picked up. When I read into Luciferian or Satanism, whatever, right? The Bible say that Shaitan is wicked and a liar and he's this and every dirty word you can think of, right? But when I studied it and looked into it, they said they never called him God. They said that he's your big brother. Okay. He's the light bringer.
Okay.
Right. Well, my argument is this then: if he's the light bringer, if he's the light bringer, right? Yeah, and he's big brother, where's the lie? Because, so where's the lie? What has he done wrong? If that's what they're claiming he is that not truth?
Well, the tree of knowledge was what was forbidden, and Shaitan wanted people to eat from the tree of knowledge. Right. The Illuminati.
Okay, so hold that point. Let's go back to what I just said. Where's the controversy there? There is none. He actually done what he said he was going to do. Eve, do you hear my point? Do you hear the point? Eve, was naive. She was pure of spirit. She didn't even know she was naked, right? He then turned out to eat this, right? Yeah, and I'm going to show you the light. I'm going to wake you up to what reality is. Yeah. He actually did that. Yeah. That's not lying.
No.
What you done is pushed her to go to do something she was told not to do. Right? Yeah. You're naughty. That's what you are. Do you understand?
Disobedient.
Yeah, you're disobedient. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But you're not a liar. You actually did wake her up to the point where she grabbed leaf and started covering up herself.
So you're showing sympathy for the devil?
No, I'm not. I'm playing. What's the word? Devil's advocate.
There you go.
I'm playing devil's advocate, and I'm sorry to say it, but I've been in court many times. I've caught myself into situations. I've been in court many times, right? Yeah. And the verdict, I know it's easy, people's going to say, yeah, well, you would say that, but the verdict, I think, was always right. I won my cases. And the reason why I ran my cases is because, and I'll be honest with you, I agree with the British judicial system on the whole.
Okay.
Everybody makes mistakes, but on the whole, and I tell you why, their system is actually ingenious. And I say what I mean. You go to Crown Court, two barristers sit down, right, and they say, right, here's the case. Right, heads or tails, who's defence, who's against, and they toss it. Right, basically they do this many times, and you fighting for defence, I'm fighting against, right, for prosecution, and they sit down and then argue the case. And people always say, yeah, but these two, they plan it all out, they sit down, have lunch together and all that. Of course they do, right? But they're not planning out the whole thing. They're coming up with their arguments, etc, etc. The point is truth can't lie. Do you understand? Yeah. I admit many people, and here's the problem, many people may be talking the truth and can't defend the truth. Right? For example, I'm wearing socks now, yeah? Right? But I don't know anything about the system used to make the socks. I just know it's wool. Do you understand? I just know it's material that's made them. And my argument is, yeah, socks are really good. They keep your foot, we call them socks. Yeah. And you're turning around and say, why are they called socks? Yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, I'm telling you, socks was a wrong word for them. It was a misused word, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And I can't defend against that because I don't know the history. Yeah. So I have to shut my mouth. So in a court of law, you've just won the argument. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right, well, that's the same situation now with regards to Satan. A lot of people, right, say things because they've been generically programmed into their head. It's subliminal program. Mom said do this, dad said do this, that's my religion. But you've never actually questioned it. And I believe it's not that I'm sticking up for Satan, it's the fact that I believe you need to be able to argue a point fully. And when I get into a discussion with a lot of Muslims, they can't argue the point. And a lot of them can't argue the point because they haven't gone into it. Yeah. How can you say, I don't care what signs you've seen, how can you say you're 150% sure that Islam is right or Christianity is right? Or how can you say that? This war or this unsureness has been going on for 50 million years since man been on the planet, right? And all of a sudden what, you think you're better than everybody else? But you know something 100%, you don't. You have to go with your gut feeling, right, yeah, and what your belief is, right? But it doesn't mean you're right. And because you're not right, that's why you should respect all religion, because you don't know what the situation is. And I'm saying there is arguments to say that Satan is the black man going in the lift. Full of white people who are all against him. Mm-hmm. Do you understand that concept, what I'm saying there, bro? Because sometimes I can't explain myself correctly, right? And that's the argument I fight against. That's the argument I try to debate against, because I think there's a lot of truth in that. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he is right, but I'm saying when I've gone into it and I've looked at and I've studied some of this online, I've looked into it, even what he calls himself seems to be true. And you know what throws me off? The way the Bible, the Quran and all of this talk about him, like they're warning you against, like they're trying to say, no, stay away. Stay away from your dad. Don't eat the tree. Stay away from your dad. Yeah. Why have I got to stay away from my dad? Oh, he's no good. Right, yeah. Well, why is dad no good? Oh, just trust me, don't talk to him. Don't talk to him. Don't look at him. Why can't you look at him? Yeah. I want to see my dad. I've grown up without my dad all these years. No, don't look at him. He's wicked. Yeah. But that's what you're saying, Mum.
Well,
do you
someone like David Icke, who's against religion and against Satanism and Luciferianism, would say the religion is just Satanism light. They still have the same rituals. The church still believe they're drinking human blood. That's what the Catholic Church believe. It's still the same thing, but being dressed up as...
Yeah, but
as
we know
good.
that because at the meeting of Nicaea,
The tree.
stay away from your dad.
Yeah.
Why have I got to stay away from my dad? Oh, he's no good. Right, yeah. Well, why is dad no good? Oh, just trust me, don't talk to him. Don't talk to him. Don't look at him. Why you can't look at? Why can't you look at him?
Yeah.
I want to see my dad. I've grown up without my dad all these years. No, don't look at him. He's wicked.
Yeah.
But that's what you're saying, Mum.
Well,
Do you see?
someone like David Icke, who's against religion and against Satanism and Luciferianism, would say the religion is just Satanism light. They still have the same rituals. The church still believe they're drinking human blood. That's what the Catholic Church believe. It's still the same thing, but being dressed up as...
Yeah, but
as
we know
good.
that because at the meeting of Nicaea, right, at the meeting of Nicaea, they decided what was going to go into the Bible and not going to... Right, but who was there deciding what's going to go into this righteous religious book?
Left out, yeah.
All the shirk people were there, right? The high priest from the temple of Apollo, the high priest from the temple of Aphrodite, all of these people, the paganists, all of them, Satanists, Luciferians, all of them were there.
The Roman Empire became the Roman Church.
Right.
But there's always been paganism that crept into
Christmas,
religion.
Valentine's, Easter, all of these things, right, were religious festivals for other things. For pagan festivals, which they said we're gonna put this because the people like to go to it.
Yeah.
So we're not going to take it away from them.
The Kaaba in Mecca had pagan rituals going on in there. There were statues. The Hajj used to happen before.
But I'm aware of that because obviously a lot of the things that were. But here's the difference: Islam, when Islam came about, it cut that. They didn't carry it on by dressing it up with a new bit of cream and a cherry on top, right? Yeah.
But they kept things like the Virgin Mary, the virgin birth, which can be found in the pagan stories prior to Christ. There were always god men born of virgins. The pictures look just like the pictures we see of Jesus, and as much as Islam did away with all the pagan rituals that were going on, it accepted this story of the Virgin Mary, which I see as it's a pagan story that crept into Christianity. And the reason why Europeans wanted a god man born of a virgin, because they don't like women.
I never looked into that. You got a good point. You got a very good point. Let me tell you why you got a good point. In theory, why the hell are you keeping that story? I don't hear you talking about Moses' mum was a virgin. I don't hear you talking about the Prophet Muhammad's mum was a virgin. I don't hear you talking about David or Solomon's mum was a virgin. So why is it so important then that you have to say that Jesus' mum was a virgin?
Fair enough. The Quran says if you want to call Jesus special because he had no earthly father, then Adam had no earthly father or mother. So Adam's even more special. But why would she need to be a virgin? What's the point?
What's the point of it?
Unless you're fulfilling the pagan...
It was a prophet brought to the earth as flesh. So from flesh has to come flesh, doesn't it? Right? So what is the most important? Why does it have to be a virgin birth? What is the reason for that? I don't understand it.
To me, it's to satisfy the pagan European mentality that women are dirty, sex is dirty, and that's where we got monasticism and nuns and monks and priests who are celibate, which led to perversion and paedophilia and the scandals that we've had recently. And the Pope has just apologised for it, but he probably didn't go far enough. The Muslim, or the Middle East rather, where Islam came, those people didn't have a problem with women or sex, or the idea that their prophet had a wife or many wives, although his first wife he married for the entirety of her life. After that he married other women. God, sorry, unclip your...
Sorry about this.
That's all right, man.